Welcome
to Shade
to
in the
Shade in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we're jumping into our review of Love and Marriage Detroit. It's season 1, episode 5. I can't believe we're already on 5. And it's Russ's stones, I think, may break Brandon's bones. I know that's not the real title. I'm altering it a little bit, but it's something like that. So, because OWN be kind of close on theirs. They're not like these other networks, TLC. But anyway, so yeah, guys, I just want to say thank you. I know I've been saying it a lot, but I believe in an attitude of gratitude.
We mean it.
But we mean it. And as you know, it's completely free. So if you are already here, please, new viewer, Shade Squad, make sure you hit the like button.
And the subscribe button.
And y'all, I'm just trying to adjust my camera for y'all because I feel like, yeah, I can't. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, and let's get into it, y'all, because I don't know if I'm really feeling Brandon and Christina now. And I know that's how it's supposed to go. It's supposed to make them the villains, but let's talk about it. Let's get into it and let's get shady. We over here tussling before the review even starts.
It'll go on forever if we do it all on camera. This will be a freaking longer than the show review.
Right. So sometimes we got to tussle off camera before we come on camera so we can keep it short and cute and sweet for y'all. So especially when we talk about sisterhoods and friendships and what is appropriate and not appropriate, right? So Colby has now stormed off, and Latoya is upset that Christina allowed Colby to walk off. And didn't go after her, and feels like she says that, I'm not with this fake, like, this is just, now, I don't know how it was fake of anybody, but I understand Latoya's reservation.
She explained how it was fake. She felt that it was fake because that's supposed to be your little sister, and
okay,
you're not being sisterly. You didn't even go after her after the situation, and you see that she's upset, but she's supposed to be a little sister.
My good girl, thank you for saying that. So I want to touch on the point that throughout this, and we'll talk about it in the review, but throughout this episode, and I do remember the first episode, Christina being the one saying, oh, Colby is like, that's how they introduce her. Colby is like my little sister. We've been friends for like 3 years. We've been da-da-da-da-da, boom, boom, boom. Cool. Even in this episode, she repeats, oh, that's like my little sister. So we can't be upset with Colby when now all of a sudden the treatment has changed, and now you feel as if, oh, you acting like I owe you something, or you acting, you know what I mean? And it's like, well, no, we're supposed to be like sisters, so why wouldn't we just pair up on this deal? Anyway, I'm just saying, because you made that point, and she's always the one that says that, and I think that's
why Latoya said it was fake. That's why Latoya said it was fake.
Okay.
She said she's not being sisterly and not letting her collab on this project and not going after her knowing she's upset.
Right. So Christina don't feel like she's being fake, and Colby as a new influencer needs to realize that she just can't insert herself into like existing deals. So Brandon chimes in that it's not the first time Colby has done this. And even Latoya realizes that Brandon isn't inserting himself and thinks that basically he's stirring the pot. Meanwhile, Colby is emotional and Russell is trying to console her. Brandon says he wasn't trying to put her on Front Street, but it is getting weird. I'm trying so hard. Then Christina chimes in to tell him to let her address Colby, not him.
He's like, I just can't win.
Basically. Latoya feels like there's drama every time they see the Smiths. And Brandon walks outside and he sees Russell, and he tells him, you're a better man than me, partner. Because now I will say Anthony is also, as we already know, is an antagonist. We're going to name him Anthony the antagonist, because he goes out there, ain't no way you gonna be copycatting. I don't know how many times he said copycat this episode, but I said, Anthony, we heard what he said the first time. You ain't got to keep reiterating it. He wanted y'all to keep hearing that again and again.
He wanted to see a fight.
Right. So he was like, yeah, it won't nobody. As soon as the cop, I would have went right upside Brandon's head. And Latoya, you know, Russell's like, no, I'm not trying to do that. I'm a change, you know, I'm a save man.
He said, it's the Lord. Thanks to the Lord.
Right. So Latoya comes to console Colby, and you know, she's just like, I'm crying because I'm pissed. And I'm sure she's pissed.
I understand, girl. It happens to me.
I understand that too, but I also can understand a part of that being hurt as well. Because you're not knowing where this is coming from. She wasn't really communicating with you. And then all of a sudden she has this like with you, and you're not knowing where it's coming from. I'm actually really would be interested to see the reunion when they play it back and see them rehash this when she's able to see what Brandon was saying to her prior to all of this, like, you know, transpiring. But yeah, so no, and basically Latoya has decided that she just no longer wants any part of Brandon and Christina's drama.
Christina went by her storage unit to get some fabric so she can design a custom piece for Chelsea and her event. Of course, she spilled the tea about everything that went down with Colby. And, you know, she's explaining it, and it does kind of make it, as she's explaining it, does kind of make it seem like Colby kind of copied her, because she said that she literally told her the idea the day prior, and then the next day she kind of told her idea, and it was the same freaking idea with the same. So
no, that's and you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. That's like perfect example. We were just having a conversation off camera, and I said, "Oh, I think I might post something about my garden or my plants on TikTok." But that's your thing. So I'm discussing it and I'm sharing it with you before I do.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's.
I would never want you to feel like, well, that's my thing. You understand? But see, again, you would never feel like that because you're not selfish.
But no. Okay. I think it's also in how it's done. No, I don't think that's the same situation.
Oh, by the way, guys, if you don't know, Nels has her very own planting channel, which is very awesome. If you have not tuned in, please make sure that you go follow our girl Nels at what is it? Painful Propagating.
Painful Propagating.
Yes, I will put the link down in the description box, but make sure you go follow Nels at Painful Propagating, and she shows you her plant life. And trust me, she be helping me with my garden life, and it's love over here. We be over here trying to live from the earth and be natural and stuff. So if you're into the plants, come on over to Painful Propagating. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So what I was going to say was, I don't think it's really the same situation. Yes, I post about my plants and stuff like that. And she did say she was going to post about her plants. For one, we both do plants, so I would have never felt any type of way. But the reason why I don't think it's the same is because if I come to you one day and I say, oh, Trees, I have this opportunity, or I'm going to do this or whatever, and I'm telling you about, you know, some situation that I have going on, right? Instead of you right then and there saying, oh, that sounds cool. Hey, do you mind, like, if I jump on it? Or what if we do that together? We've been talking about working together. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time, versus I'm telling you my idea and what I have going on, and then the next day you have the same exact idea and what's going on, but in your life, like it's totally separate from what I'm doing, but it's really what I'm doing.
Right.
It does seem like a little, you know,
unoriginal, unauthentic.
Yeah, and like stepping on my toes a little bit. Like, if you wanted to work together and you wanted me to, you know, bring you in, why couldn't you say that when I told you about it, versus making it seem like this was your own idea that you came up with, and this is something that you wanted to do, like you weren't taking my idea when I just had it with you the day before. That's how it seems ingenuine. So I don't think it's the same as like the conversation we had prior, and I can understand why Christina felt some type of way about the way it went down.
Okay.
If that's actually how it went down.
I think the only thing that I think is important is that Christina admitted that she didn't text her back. She didn't communicate.
She said that to Colby as well. She did say that she that Colby reached out to her. She told her that I think we should have this conversation in person. I guess Colby reached back out to her and she said she didn't see the text, but apparently Chelsea understands her and knows that she's not a good texter or whatever the case may be. Anyway, she feels that she really shouldn't apologize. She doesn't feel like she did anything wrong. She didn't feel that she came across as disrespectful. And she felt like Christina was actually the one that was being extra. And Chelsea tells her, you know what, I think you should really just be the bigger person and reach out. Christina says that's going to take some thought. I'm going to have to really consider that.
And see, to me, that just doesn't give big sister vibes. It just, oh, so I'm gonna just, I don't know.
I think things would have went down differently if they would have had their own private conversation.
It's too many chefs in the kitchen. That's what it sounds like.
It was a lot of people around, and I think that also creates a lot of hurt and embarrassment when you're trying to have a conversation that should be private, and then you have other people around, and maybe you're like looking at them like, damn, like she saw the way she just talked to me, and it just creates different feelings. So I think it should have been a private conversation if it was sisterly. So Anthony, he gets the guys together for their first official men's movement meeting. Brandon came in with a t-shirt with pictures of Christina all over it. I don't give a damn. I loved it.
I knew you would. I knew you.
I'm giving gifts.
I said Nels love.
First of all, I'm giving gifts with pictures of me on it, like clothing with pictures of me on it. Okay,
She's that girl, y'all.
I love it. Look, that's how you look. Show me it's real. Damn a tattoo. Okay.
I would get the tattoo. And a part of me feels like that was a little bit intentional too.
Absolutely.
She may not be here, but she's here.
She's here, okay? And Russell felt it. Right. Russell felt like she was giving him the side eye from the t-shirt.
Right.
Basically, Russell was like, yeah, I saw the t-shirt. She was giving me the side eye on the t-shirt. It could never be me. He's like, I love my wife, but you will never catch me in a t-shirt like that. What I'm not about to do is spend my money and you tell me no. You gonna wear this shirt. Or so I'm gonna tell you no for a lot of things. Yes, I will play that love game. Okay.
No, not the love games.
Yep, I will play that one. So Russell tells him that, they gotta have some words later on. Apparently, Anthony is planning to put together a march that he says brings young men and the brothers together. And talking to them about leadership, politics, how to treat women, and mold children. I said, okay, all right, Anthony.
Yeah, I was liking his idea.
Yeah, he said it's about men learning how to become men.
Not sassy men, but just men.
Yeah, I think we still need to go back in the kitchen a little bit for a little bit longer, cook up some
on the recipe,
right, and then you serve it up, okay? But I like where he's going with this.
I did. I was here with it.
He said he wants Brandon and Russell to speak for a couple minutes, and he may call up some other people as well. Bravo doesn't know what the heck is going on, but he can feel the tension and sees Russell constantly looking at Brandon. He's like, I'm just a fly on the wall.
Right. He's like,
what the hell going on?
I just want to know what my job is, what my role.
Right? That's it. And everybody congratulates Anthony on, what he's doing for the community, except for Brandon, because he has no idea what's going on. He said, I know I didn't go to college, but am I really the only one that don't understand what the hell this is or what we doing?
You seem like
anyway, right after the meeting, Russell wanted to address Brandon. Anthony decided to catch Bravo up on how everything went down. And Russell says, that he really wanted to have a one-on-one with him. But, since it was brought up this way, he tells him that they should have addressed that situation. Like, he wanted to show him how he should have addressed the situation. But if he wasn't saved, he would have broke every bone in his body. I said, oh, I don't know why, Russell. I don't know why that made me a little hot. I said, oh, Russell. I already thought Russell was cute, okay? God. No, he says as men, it's
you acting like what's the name? Be like, oh, so you want to see Courtney? You want to see Courtney? I bet that turns her on too.
Girl. So, he says as men, it's their job to set the example for their wives, and tells Brandon, yesterday you kind of took a step back and you disrespected my wife, and now I can't trust you. And doesn't want him around him or his wife, or Christina around his wife either. And after that threat, Brandon said, you know what, I'm going to just sit here, nod, and say, yep, and keep this mouth shut. I said, yep. Good thinking. Russell told him, basically, if you want to say anything to my wife,
you address me first.
And Brandon said he understands, he spit some venom and he totally regrets it. And in the confessional, he said that he still meant what he said, but if he knew that it would cause so much hurt, he would have never said it. Russell tells him he's throwing his wife apart.
That's what it was for me. That's what's really bothering me about the situation, is because he goes up here on camera, he's quiet, he has nothing to say or whatever, and then he gets in confessional and he's talking big
and talking to his wife too, like he was gonna do something. No, sir, you was about to have every bone in your body broken.
Right.
Russell ain't hold back. So Russell tells him that he's throwing a party for his wife, and initially he wanted them to come, but not anymore. They are uninvited. And tells him that they'll work on this, but it's going to take some time. But he does appreciate him having a conversation with him like a man. He had a conversation with the confessional, sir. He just sat down and nodded and listened to you.
Right. Brandon and Christina sit on the dock of the bay to discuss his that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, they sitting there and they're trying to discuss his father's passing. He passed away 2 years ago, is my understanding. Christina says that Brandon had a tough relationship with his dad and he still has a strained relationship with his mom. Christina tries to get him to open up, and Brandon then brings up the meeting that just occurred. And I was like, did we not see how he deflected from talking about his true real feelings of what she was trying to get deep with him? And she talks about it in a confessional, how I know he has issues. And granted, Christina's not a therapist, but as her life partner, I see where she's trying to dig deeper and get him to open up to her. And he completely changed the subject on her, and she let him. She took the bait. So he comes to her with the tea and basically tells her about the meeting, the man's movement meeting, and how Russell was sitting there glaring him down the whole meeting. Christina thinks the whole reaction is very dramatic. And then, he shares what Russell said about what he would have done if he wasn't saved. So, Shadeinthecity does not condone violence. However, we do condone breaking bones. I'm just kidding. Now, Brandon said he had a lot he wanted to say. He had a lot he wanted to say, but Russell,
he was scared.
But he was facing, but he said, I was facing a raging bull.
And that shirt he had on was a red cape.
Christina feels like it was an over-the-top reaction, and he breaks the news that they were uninvited to Colby's event. Christina doesn't care because she didn't plan on going anyway. This is what I'm talking about with Christina. Yeah. It makes it seem like, although you were out here friend girling her, y'all weren't really that tight as you thought, as you said. And now I can see where Latoya is coming from. It does come off fake because you out here calling this girl your little sister, but that's not how you're acting. And I'm sorry, I don't think you go out here and just call everybody little sister. You just don't do that. So, but no. So Christina says she doesn't understand why she's uninvited when Colby is the one that blew up on her and called her selfish. So she's good not going to her party. And Brandon asked her if they're still going to remain friends with the Harrises, and she isn't sure.
They're probably just grateful. They won't have so much drama in their life now. No arguing, no public embarrassment.
They'll find another couple to go out and argue with.
So Anthony stops by Brandon's studio to see him, and he sees him working. This makes him super proud. He's like, it's about damn time. Brandon said that he's been in the gym lately because, he might have a wrestling match on his hand. No, I don't think so.
No.
It's no match, sir.
I was gonna say there is no match.
Now he says that he knows that he shouldn't have called Colby that name, but does it measure up to him wanting to break every bone in his body? I think so. Why are you even talking to his wife like that?
You know what? I would understand if he was like a Diddy type of figure who had enough security around him to say what he wanted to say and not get his bones broken. But again, you're still blaming your wife because you're not where you want to be. So I think you might want to sit there and be quiet and refrain. I can't wait to the reunion. But again, we have Russ being a man of God, so we know he's not gonna step outside that box. But even still,
didn't the Lord even put hands on people?
I was gonna say, I feel like the Lord struck the people down. Some I gotta go back in the chapters, the Old Testament. But
let's just y'all comment and let us know.
Right, because
I mean he ain't above the Lord. I think it's okay to put hands on people.
If the pastor can cuss, why can't he touch? Okay, so
so Anthony basically explains to him that he thinks it's because Russell felt disrespected. Bravo gets there and they basically have everything together for the showcase, and Brandon is to just put the artists together. Brandon is feeling like they're trying to have the showcase without him. So Brandon says that he wanted to bring all the artists because, he can have an agreement in place. And Anthony tells him that
Mix or DJ Mix or something like
Mix,
that. Yeah.
That he has to run it by Mix because he also wanted to have some artists involved as well. And Brandon says that he feels like they're just trying to push him out the showcase. Anthony told him that after the situation, he started looking at him a little different, like he couldn't trust him, but says that he wants to keep on building and see his family win and do this showcase so they can put on for the city. So Anthony had to go, and Brandon is discussing with Bravo instead of with Anthony as to why Anthony doesn't trust him and he just doesn't understand it. So he feels like he needs to have a one-on-one with him. That's funny. He keeps on talking to everybody else after the fact than the people that are actually in the conversation addressing him.
Right. So
it's getting bitch made.
So Russell is on edge trying to pull off the surprise for Colby. Latoya arrives and Colby pulls up looking good with a T at the end. Put a T at the end, okay? Now, Colby admits that she has an idea of what might be going on. And Russell says if Colby doesn't cry when she walks in, then they're going to have to fight. She doesn't cry. Colby says she doesn't like surprises. She is not that person, but apparently it was off her vision board. Shout out to the vision boards and the manifestors out here. Now,
he then gave the vision board to the event planner and said, make it a reality. I was like, all right, Russell.
So Colby is having a great time. And look, shout out to him for looking at the vision board and knowing what was on it to make it happen. Yeah, that was shots fired to nobody at the show. Personal. So Colby is having a great time at her event and is hoping for a drama-free evening. Russell has them sitting on the floor and Latoya makes a comment. Latoya checks up on her to see how she's doing. Colby says she's confused on what's happened. She feels like Christina has a spirit of manipulation. And Latoya says she doesn't like when women aren't sisterly to each other. She says Christina hasn't called. And Russell finally mentions he asked them not to come. So Latoya lets them know that Anthony is actually meeting up with Brandon and Christina, and she declined to go. And she said what she needed to say at the skating rink. Straight like
that. I'm confused as to why he decided to go meet up with them at the time of the party. Why didn't you just reschedule that?
I was wondering that same thing.
You gonna miss my birthday party to go meet up and have a conversation
with people you supposedly don't rock with no more? But
where they do that at? Reschedule that.
What up, though?
Brandon says, but you're paying me out to be the bad guy in this situation. Anthony said, okay, sir, you went back to the blame game.
And I need you to take accountability.
I need you to take accountability. I said, well, So Christina said maybe he shouldn't have called her, out her name. He shouldn't have did the name calling. But Colby did name calling also. Now, then Latoya said that she's telling Christina that she doesn't do the I'm sorry, she's telling Colby that she doesn't do the drama. Christina said that Latoya is the one talking about she doesn't do the drama.
Okay.
But basically, Colby was the one yelling and being all loud. Trust me, all these names were completely messed up. I literally had to figure out what the hell it was supposed to say. And she felt like it was weird. Anthony says that she he feels he's like, she doesn't have a problem with Christina or Colby. I don't know about all that. She just doesn't want like the public embarrassment and looking crazy. Christina wants to know where she's at. He said, "Oh, she at home with the kids."
Lies you tell.
That's what they do. They teach you to lie. That's what they do. So now, while in reality,
Like she not
Latoya,
gonna see it on TV.
right? Latoya is actually back at the party and explaining that she felt like Brandon got the copycat name from Christina. Colby said that she's also a content creator, and they work with the same brands all the time. And if you run down her timeline, it looks nothing like Christina's. I don't know.
Gotta love Carlos with the receipts.
I don't know about that. Carlos proved you were lying. Now she says that she's just disappointed in how Christina handled everything, and Latoya is shocked that she hasn't even reached out to her for her birthday, and that's supposed to be her little sister.
Okay, so
Russell,
you know what? Hold on. And I just had this thought. We were just having this conversation the other day, and I was sharing with you how it is super hard, and I'm sure any other content creators that might be watching, y'all can drop down in the comments, let us know what y'all think. But I heard another content creator say something the other day about how it's so hard when you have an idea and then you see someone else get to it before you.
mm-hmm.
And then you feel like, well, I don't want to do it because I'm copying them.
Yeah,
And
it'll make it look like you're copying them.
And you said it'll make it look like you're copying them.
Because I mean, technically, you're not. If you came up with the idea on your own,
right? But I just want to say shout out to Colby for not, because I can understand as a content creator how that can hold you back from doing a lot of things because you don't want to seem like a copycat. And I actually got to give Colby her props for being like, I'm not gonna let that from stop me stopping my posting my content, getting my followers, getting my likes, and not letting it deter her for what she thinks people might think. That's just my thoughts. And I just had that revelation because we had that conversation the other day.
But then she really is a Colby cat because it's different when you see content and you're like, oh, I had that idea in my head. I'm not going to do it, or I'm still going to do it, versus someone calls you up and tells you about an idea and then you make it seem like it's your own idea and want to do it. It's two different things.
No, child.
But I can understand if you had the idea in your head and you've seen it and you're like, you know what, I don't give a damn. I still had the idea and I'm not copying, and you still want to post it. Fine. It makes you look like a copycat, but you know in your heart you're not a copycat because
look, we see it all the time on the Shade Room. Who wore it best? Look, go ahead.
Versus somebody giving you the idea and you making it seem like it's yours. That's totally different. Anyways, Russell suggests that everybody come together, all the couples come together and have a conversation. It didn't work out that well last time. So I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna go too well.
Anthony is discussing how do they move past this and get back together and rebuild. And Christina's like, rebuild what? And Anthony says, if a man says something like the things that Brandon said, rebuilding needs to be done.
Well,
you better tell her. And said, we've all made mistakes in our relationships.
And we still gonna make mistakes.
Too. Okay. And Brandon said that's, all he wants. He wants everybody to own their role in the drama. And, Anthony says that basically everybody's going to continue to mess up, but he still wants everybody to win. So Brandon wants to know how the showcase went from him and Brandon to a whole meeting and a half with everybody knowing about it and adding other people. Anthony said when the whole thing happened with him and Russell, it became like a trust and loyalty thing for him. Christina said that didn't have anything to do with Anthony, and she's feeling like him and Latoya is jumping on a bandwagon. He said, don't play with me about no bandwagon. We straight over here. We straight over here. Oh Lord, the sassiness about to come out.
I was gonna say, don't let Anthony get sassy.
Yeah, best stop it. Look, Brandon, you gonna break every bone in his body if he start acting crazy to your wife?
He done already done it.
Now this is what she's talking about when she says stand up for her. She ain't talking about against the women. Okay, she's talking about against your homeboys.
That part.
And Anthony said, he's not about to be doing business deals with somebody that's sneaking, like behind sneaking somebody that they cool with. Now this actually is what I was talking about.
Last episode. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
When people don't want to work with people who are cheaters and liars and manipulators, because if you can do that to the person you're laying down with, imagine what you'll do to them in business. So the way, and I understand where he's coming from. If you could talk and disrespect our homeboy that we cool with like this, why do I want to do business with you? Now, I can understand where he's coming from, but what you don't do is sneak me and try to take my business that I came to you with and try to pull it from right up under me. Because this was my showcase. And if you don't want to have any parts of it because you don't want to deal with me, then just step back and step out of it. That doesn't change the fact that it's my showcase. You ain't about to take from me. Now that would have started the fight.
Well, I don't think he could have been taken from us if he was paying more attention to what was going on.
If you're having private meetings without me and calling people outside of me, then yeah, it absolutely can.
Well, then he can go do his own showcase.
It is his showcase. That's the problem. It's Brandon's showcase. Remember, Brandon was the one that presented it to them. Anthony is the one that's talking about, oh, I don't really want to work with you because you sneaking our friends.
So if Brandon got it like that.
So Anthony needs to go do his own showcase.
Anthony got artists. Brandon is the one that needs to see.
So does Brandon.
Brandon is the one that needs the venue and the marketing. And
the venue is Bravo.
Bravo said he's riding with
first of all, where does Anthony come into all this? Because I don't think Anthony has artists. It's Mix that has artists and Brandon that has
he's
artists.
Marketing.
What is man, look,
he works for Live Nation. It's marketing.
Guess what? We no longer need your services. Okay. I'm married to a whole influencer. Boo, post my shit.
Well, y'all, is that it? Are you done?
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
Okay. Well, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to another review of Love and Marriage Detroit. Please drop down in the comments. Let us know who you think is in the wrong between Anthony and what's the boy name? Brandon.
Everybody.
Well, yeah,
everybody playing a part in this.
Right. And yeah, guys, if you have not already, please make sure that you've hit the like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure that you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the IG. And yes, guys, just keep liking and subscribing. We're loving it. Keep sharing. And yes, hopefully we will see you soon to celebrate 500. So thank you. You have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.